When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
So we have just hopped on here for you today to explain how our journey is going from here, because plans have changed quite significantly, and we just wanted to update you as to what's happening next.
Yeah, so it's we've had a bit of a delay in our videos because it's been really hot, and we've had some time just to recover from Nina's hospitalisation, and that's been quite a drain on us as a family. And yeah, we've been trying to keep going with our journey, but we've just been continually met with roadblocks, and COVID is, you know, I didn't really want to make it the excuse for stopping, but unfortunately COVID has really made things really difficult for us, to the degree that we can't actually sail home. You know, there's just too many borders blocked, and we did so much soul searching, because that was our goal, was to sail Polly back home and have her as our home in New Zealand, but it's just too hard. So while we love our little boat,
We possibly could sail home, but not within our time frame and our budget. So that's the worry, because we only have a very finite amount of money. And if we got stuck somewhere due to COVID, and also with all the additional costs of PCR testing and possibly quarantine times in marinas, etc., and all the uncertainty that's attached to timelines, we decided it's just too high risk for us to proceed, and also with Nina's added health issues, because we never really got a proper diagnosis. There's a worry in the back of our minds that she might have a relapse of some sort, and being somewhere in the Caribbean on an island that's not really equipped with proper medical facilities would not really be ideal. On top of it, we also haven't really got coverage with our health insurance for any COVID-related issues. So that's another worry, because there is, in Europe here especially, there is COVID still going around to quite a big degree. So they are playing so many factors into our decision making, really. It's not just...
in fact, we actually got to a stage where we decided that Silka and the kids were going to fly back to New Zealand, and I was going to sail. In fact, it was where we got to the stage of actually getting crew, and we got the crew organised, and I woke up about 3 a.m. one morning and just thought, because we've been hopping backwards and forwards, yes, no, and something was in the back of my mind, so I actually drew up the big pros and cons list, and the cons were just too huge, and the financial...
Because it would have to be in such a tight time frame, and at times that are not really ideal for sailing.
So we had to have 2 ocean crossings, the Pacific and the Atlantic, and rather than to do both of those one after the other, you really need 18 months, 2 years to do it, and we were going to do it virtually in
4 or 5 months,
100 days. And that was just crazy, because we would have gone too early for the Atlantic and too late for the Pacific, and both of them had high potential of lingering hurricanes and cyclones. And you know, to factor in breakages, we should, you know, thought about 15 grand just for breakages along the way, through heavy seas,
paying crew as well,
paying the crew, the Panama.
And again, our very tight budget is, or was, a hindrance in the planning, because there's only a very finite amount of money. So,
and there were just no contingencies for big disasters, like something like orcas have been giving sailboats a hiding, you know, and if we had a broken rudder, yeah. And then, of course, getting even our crew. Still actually haven't heard back from the immigration and health authorities in New Zealand. I asked them months ago about crew into New Zealand, and it's obviously debatable whether they can come in sailing our yacht. And then on top of that, sort of the last issue was that we still had to come up with another 25 grand for import and GST on the boat, so totaling about $45,000 to $50,000 to get our boat home, and a lot of hassles along the way and a lot of other unknowns. We decided that no, we'll pull the pin here in Turkey. We've had an incredible time here, and yeah, we're going to fly to Germany and spend some time with Silke's parents. Lucy, as you already know, is there waiting out her non-rabies country time, because
so we can't actually fly until the 20th of January next year because of Lucy. So that's when her 6 months in Germany that she has to sit out over. So we have to sit that out with her, essentially.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to sell Polly last minute either. Our visa here in Turkey runs out end of October. So, and on top of that, we don't know when we are going to see my parents again in the current state of affairs in the world with travel. So, while it might be challenging to live in one house with parents for 5 months, might be the last time in a long time that we get to spend time with them. So we will make the most of that as well.
So as far as the big adventure with Polly and us and things, I think we've taken on board literally what we've learnt from this whole adventure and exercise here. We both agree that we love living on a boat, and we love the fact that we've now got a reduced lifestyle as far as possessions and things. I mean, our little boat is literally like a tiny house, so we actually enjoy this, and we don't want to go back to a big house. We don't want to be a slave to mortgages and rents. So,
well, that's the main thing for me. I would actually like living in a house, but I don't want to be a slave to a mortgage, which would be the case for us. So.
Yeah, I mean, a house is wonderful, and if we had one, we would still be minimalist. But we've decided the plan at this stage is to go back to New Zealand and buy another yacht. Sadly, it won't be probably as nice as this one, but we'll try hard. And hopefully get a berth in Napier on the marina, and we will live there and hopefully continue some adventures around New Zealand and explore that, and trying and
That's plan A. So if plan A doesn't work, then we would have to look at renting or certainly not buying a house.
But as far as our adventures and the videos are concerned, we're still going to I think we'll still make these, because they're such an amazing record for us personally of our journey through life, and some of them may not be so exciting as here, but they're still a record of what we're doing, and we'll continue to hopefully find interesting things to do. Like a lot of Kiwis, we'll make the most of home if we can get there through MIQ, which is pretty tricky at the moment.
Have to face, and hopefully somehow rather things will fall into place so we can be returning, because the children's school will be starting back in February, and we can't fly until the 20th of January, and we have to be 2 weeks in quarantine if that's not changing. So it will mean if everything falls into place as we want it to, the children will just arrive in time for school to start in New Zealand. So we have all our fingers and toes crossed that that's going to happen.
Yeah, so we put our little Polly up for sale, and we got a lot of interest, and a couple of British women have put a deposit on her, and it's all gone rather fast, and it's been a simple sale. We haven't had to use a broker, which would have cost us lots of money, and so yeah, the sale will probably go through next week, and we will get off
And it's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah.
We will all miss her, and it's very sad because we have spent the last year to make Polly what we wanted her to be. And now, again, we have to detach from all our hard work, or especially Tim's work, because he has been doing all of the work to repair things that were broken and to improve things that weren't there. So it's a bit sad to let go of her now that she is the way we needed her to be, with heater and water maker and
all the things.
dehumidifier, all the toilets working, etc. So it will be nice, or hopefully it will be a nice home for the two ladies who buy her and will take good care of her, but it's hard for all of us to let go of Polly,
But I'm
because
sure
we
we'll
really love her.
I'm sure we'll find another one. And the bonus of being on a boat in New Zealand is that things that need doing will be so much more straightforward. Everything on this yacht that we've had to organise is just such a mission, without the language barriers and not knowing where to access services and
Who
parts,
to trust and
who to
is
trust and
a
everything. So
rip-off.
New Zealand is going to be such a better place. And anywho, not to say we won't come back to Turkey, because we absolutely love it here. And while we thought it was like a bit of a drag that we got stuck here, we've actually both agreed that we love being here. And if there's one country out of all of this Mediterranean area, we think we actually found the right country.
Lucked out
Yeah.
in the end. And also I can say, well, I've traveled before on land, and I find that staying in one place for a longer time, you actually really get to know the country and the people. And I'm actually quite grateful about the fact that we had the chance to really get to know Turkey and its people and really explore one place properly, rather than rushing through 10 more.
And I knew this before we left, but I wasn't sure how it would come through. But a lot of people said, "Oh, it's, you know, your journey will be about people." And for sure, this being in Turkey, I have a heartache for the people of Turkey, and we've met so many beautiful, wonderful people, and that's my takeaway from this whole trip actually, is the people we've met, and of course the beauty of Turkey. And it's such an underrated place. We only ever heard either nothing or bad things about Turkey, mostly from Greeks. But yeah, it's been an amazing thing, and I come back in a heartbeat.
And also the time we had as a family was quite valuable, like to really switch off from the life we had before, the rat race and all our belongings. That for me took quite a while to process. Like there was quite a bit of grief for me letting go of our home and garden and my yoga studio, etc. So it was really good to have time to let go of all the preconceived ideas of how life has to be in such a beautiful place on the water, and to have a bit of a sabbatical to clear our heads and see where we want to go. I mean, it was always clear for us that we had to go back to normal life,
Yeah.
as per se, but how that was going to look like, it really gave us time and space to think about where to from here, and how we want to try and attempt to change what we did before, so we can have a more healthy lifestyle for our hearts and minds, really.
And the interesting thing, a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people looked at what we did and thought of it as one big holiday, and they said we're so lucky. Well, I think we make our own luck, and we certainly sacrificed a heck of a lot to be here. And while we didn't video and portray all of the things we did, I can assure you that we had some incredibly low times, lower than I've ever had before here. But having said that, because of the situation, we've had some of the best times ever. And so,
And that was something that people have said to us
Yeah,
from
I
the
knew that.
beginning.
I just didn't know how
highs are higher and the lower are very much lower. So life feels more intense out here.
Actually, that's it, isn't it? That life is intensive, but then the takeaway of that is that the last couple of years, or the last 18 months, I think have been really well lived. I feel like we've lived them properly, and it's, you know, making the most of life. We've definitely lived it, and it's certainly been the most memorable 2 years of my entire life. And yeah, and I think it's a good lesson to keep going.
Just in a bit more of a, I really feel like going home is the right thing to do in this environment at the moment. I've been kind of missing a sense of safety, security, community, and we are still guests in this country, in this situation, and it can feel really vulnerable at times.
With COVID
all this.
and actually the unsettledness
Of not knowing what's going to happen next. And I mean, nobody knows anywhere in the world, but it's just.
But Turkey itself is not actually in a particularly geographically in a great position. There's a lot of unrest in neighbouring countries, and whereas New Zealand just feels a little bit more isolated and a little bit more secure. But who knows what will happen in the future? We'll keep moving.
Yeah.
So watch the space. Thanks for coming along anyway,
Yes.
following us.